Let's take a quick look at the markets this morning. Just as we wait for the opening bell, you can see the Dow down, 182. This as Canada has retaliated today against the U.S. with a new round of tariffs. Tariffs on products from ketchup to dishwashing detergent, basically slapping on 10 to 25% taxes worth $12.6 billion, and all the fears and concerns about a potential trade war. And these tariffs back and forth dragging the Dow down a bit this morning.
It is causing a lot of uncertainty and leading to the sell-off that you're seeing. Also important to note that it's a holiday shortened week, and sometimes that lighter holiday volume can lead to big swings in the market. So we'll watch where it goes. 2 minutes into trading. Meanwhile, trade war concerns escalating in Washington and on Wall Street. President Trump now calling out the European Union, saying they are just as bad as China in terms of their trade practices with the U.S.
The European Union is possibly as bad as China, just smaller. Okay? It's terrible what they do to us. European Union, take a look at the car situation. They send the Mercedes in. We can't send our cars in. Look what they do to our farmers. They don't want our farm products. Now, in all fairness, they have their farmers, so they want to protect their farmers. But we don't protect ours, and they protect theirs.
Joining me now, former Chief of Staff to President George H.W. Bush and former New Hampshire Governor John Sununu joins us. Governor, good to see you this morning. So obviously we came in on the markets. The market's still feeling a lot of uncertainty, and it is causing some concern there. The president says the EU is possibly as bad as China when it comes to this. Does he have a point?
Well, you have to remember that the EU started as the European Common Market. The whole purpose was to create protectionism policies for their industries, and that was in '57. By '68, they had built up tariff barriers that were quite effective and have continued them. The president is right that the trade imbalance with Europe is primarily a result of differences in tariffs.
He really got into the meat of his argument there in this interview with Maria Bartiromo, which aired yesterday morning on Fox News Channel, talking about the EU treating us badly and treating us, quite frankly, unfairly. And I wonder what the political implications of this message are. He goes further here. Listen.
The European Union last year made, if you look at a trade surplus, which I think is a very important thing, $151 billion. I love those countries. Right. Germany and all of the countries, Scotland, you have Scotland. They're still in there. They're still hanging in there, right? We'll see what happens with Brexit. Right. But they treat us very badly.
And this was his response to Maria pushing him on wouldn't it be better to get the support of our allies to go up against China in this? Do you see this as a winning message for the president?
Look, I think in the long run, the president is a free trader, but he does understand that over the years we have drifted into this horrible position. He's using a tactic that might be different than some of us would use, but it is a tactic to get this process back to a free trade structure, both with China and the EU. We may not like this transition and the policies involved in the transition, but I think the target is to get to a free trade policy in the long run. And that's what I think we ought to be keeping our eye on.
It seems as if the president, not only is he going to stick to this message, but it seems, Governor, that he's doubling down on this. Is this all just part of the president's negotiating tactics?
I think it is, and I think the reason for doubling down is to try and get this thing done quickly. I think his feeling right now is on trade and tariffs, no pain, no gain. And so what he's trying to do is remind people that we are very serious about it. Come to the table, negotiate, let's get this done, and let's move to a free trade regime.
And meanwhile, the political implications, and you hear even some within his own party sharing concern over the president's actions, or at least his words here. Senator Pat Toomey, a Republican, weighing in on this. Listen.
So far, this trade war, if it is that, and it seems to be heading that way, has been of a modest scale. It hasn't done great damage yet, but it has the potential to do that. My hope is that we can persuade the president to focus on the real problem on the trade front.
I mean, that's a pretty fierce warning from not only a Republican from Pennsylvania, but a senator sitting on the Finance Committee, really warning of the possible implications of this.
Well, Pat Toomey is kind of straddling things because his steel industry in Pennsylvania certainly was a great beneficiary of the tariffs here. So it's nice to get the benefits to your constituents and then talk tough to the president. Look, the president has a strategy. It may be different than Toomey would use. It may be different than I would use. But let the president play out his strategy and see if we can't bring these folks who have imposed tariffs to the table and to negotiate a better trade regime for the U.S.
At this point, with the message this fierce from the president, we'll see where this goes. But you can see this likely being a big issue come November midterms. We'll keep watching it. Governor Sununu, thank you.
Thanks, Sandra. Have a good day.